So Andre Bordusa asks, is there an ontological relation between Santa Claus, the principality, and St. Nicholas, given that in some places Santa is even called St. Nicholas? Is the actual historical person who became a saint participating in Santa Claus in a different way than other people? If not, isn't it wrong to call this principality by the name of a saint? P.S. I hope it's okay to repost this question from a while ago, giving it a second try for likes. Yeah, a lot of people have been asking me about this because in some ways when I did that video on the meaning, on the, that Santa Claus exists, I wasn't clear. So one of the things, and if you take the video that I did last time, maybe this can help you think about this. So saints have like a canonical story, right? They have a canonical story. There's a canonical images. They have ways in which they're celebrated. And then what happens is that there are folk versions. So certain saints accumulate folk legends around them and folk practices. So different ways of celebrating the saint that are very close to different places. And some of those, they can become quite idiosyncratic in the sense that sometimes you wonder why are they connected to the saint? Like, why is this particular practice of, I don't know, making wreaths of a certain flower or wearing certain colors, why are they related? And then in their legend, why is it that Saint Nicholas, for example, there's this whole story of him, healing the pickled children, resurrecting the pickled children. That's quite a late legend. So these legends accumulate around a character. And the way that I understand it is that in some ways that is what Santa Claus is. It's like a kind of folk version of St. Nicholas. It's a roundabout version of him. It's a metaphorical figure of like Father Christmas that's mixed with St. Nicholas, and it's kind of fused them together. So that's how I see it. So I would say a good way to think about it is that St. Nicholas is the actual principality, and then Santa Claus is a kind of excessive external projection of the saint, just like the weirder legends of Christ or the weirder legends of the Mother of God or of some of the saints participate in this like second tier of understanding, and of legitimacy. So that's how I understand it. And you could say that the problem is that if you totally discount the legendary one, then if you're not careful, you actually end up with nothing. Because that's one of the things that happens is that, let's say in the demythologization of the Bible, the kind of liberal Protestant types, they basically ended up stripping it of everything and putting everything in question. Because what proof do you have of anything? Like, you have texts that were written, and some of them written after the death of the person, and some of the miracles that happen after the death, you can imagine maybe some of those miracles would then be attributed back to the saint when he was alive, et cetera, et cetera. And so it creates this very strange little space. And so I think it's just about putting things in their proper place. Obviously, like a good example would be, I think that if someone put an image of Santa Claus, like really like the red Santa Claus with the red hat, and the white beard, if someone put that on an icon and then put it up in the church and had an inscription on it saying Saint Nicholas and asked us to venerate it, and I think that'd be too much. That would be beyond the pale. But the opposite is good then. So in some ways to remember from the St. Nicholas that we like, the one that, the Santa Claus that we enjoy and that, we play games with kids about that are in the stories, remembering that that's St. Nicholas or that it's a downstream of St. Nicholas, that's useful, Maybe having an icon of St. Nicholas around during the holiday season, that's useful. Because in fact, one's the cause of the other ultimately. St. Nicholas is the cause of the image of Santa Claus.